Mary in her sky-blue dress and mantle, her neck and arms adorned with garlands, and the flower-wreathed candlestick in her hand. On either side walked 3 little maidens with similarly trimmed candlesticks. They were dressed in white, embroidered with gold, and wore bluish mantles. They were covered with garlands, even their arms were twined with flowers. Then followed the other virgins and little girls, about 20 in number, all dressed beautifully. There was something very extraordinary in Mary's appearance. At the temple, men were busy opening a large and wonderfully beautiful gate. It was the Golden Gate. The priests led the Holy Virgin up numerous steps to this gate. Mary was again questioned by the priest. And now Joachim went with the priest to offer sacrifice. When the sacrifice was kindled, Mary went with the women and children to her place of prayer in the women's porch. Anne led Mary to the steps before the altar. Mary knelt upon the steps, while Joachim and Anne, laying their hands on her head, uttered some words bearing reference to the offering of their child, which words were written down by the 2 Levites. Then one of the priests cut a lock of hair from the child's head and cast it upon a pan of live coals, after which he threw around her a brown veil. During this ceremony, the girls sang psalms, and the boys played on their musical instruments. And now the priests led the Holy Virgin up a long flight of steps. In the wall that separated the sanctuary from the rest of the temple, they stood her in something like a niche from which she could see into the temple, where were ranged numbers of men who seemed to be consecrated to its service. 2 priests stood at Mary's side, and several others on the steps praying and reading aloud from rolls. Then the priests led Mary down by the hand. One of them took the light from her and the little garlands off her arms and handed them to the other girls. Mary was then led through a door into another hall, where 6 other temple virgins met them and scattered flowers before her. To them the priest delivered the child. When the singing was ended, Mary took leave of her parents. Joachim was especially affected. He took the little child up in his arms, pressed her to his heart, and said, weeping, "Remember my soul before God."